and welcome to That Shakespeare Life. I'm Cassidy Cash, and this week we're going to be asking the question, what kind of potatoes did Shakespeare eat? I think that's a crucial question, don't you? From Francis Drake to Sir Walter Raleigh, credit gets spread around and has been left undetermined as to who is actually responsible for bringing potatoes to England the very first time. But what we can know is that the food was just beginning to become popular as a table food or something edible during Shakespeare's lifetime. And there were even a few people who grew potatoes for their flowers. I bet you didn't know potatoes will grow flowers if you leave them in the ground long enough. In order to find out more about exactly what kind of potatoes were being grown for Shakespeare's lifetime, what they looked like, and whether or not we have seen them served on tables like at the Shakespeare household, for example, we sat down with expert botanist and plant historian Sally Cunningham to find out. Here's what she had to say.
About 4 or 5. I think the first ones that came in would be sort of red and white with a russet skin. I suppose similar to russet Burbank, possibly. And they were quite lumpy looking at the drawings. Gerard says he published the very first woodcut that was ever made in Europe of a potato, although I think it was actually made by Tabernimontas, who was a very famous illustrator of the time. And he had compiled about 1,000 woodcuts for Clusius's book, De Rerum Botanica. And unfortunately, Clusius went bankrupt. And his things never got published, and Gerard took the woodcuts at, I think, quite a cut price. And
then published them as his own?
Well, published them in his herbal. I don't think he attributed them to anybody in particular. He just put pictures in and assumed people would think he'd done them as well.
Well, on other episodes about plants that we've done here on That Shakespeare Life, there were samples of these plants that they found, even like preserved plant specimens from this time period. And I wonder if there are any like that of the potatoes,
yeah, not so many, sadly. The biggest difficulty is actually keeping anywhere dry and vermin proof on a ship on the long Atlantic voyage. People were more into either saving things as seed or making detailed drawings, because obviously on a small, very crowded ship, space was at a premium.
It makes complete sense to me that potatoes would have been viewed suspiciously, especially when you think about how nightshades were totally poisonous, like not just a little bit make you sick, but totally going to knock you out. You're dead now if you eat this. Potatoes would have been something that you'd been a little scared of. I know I would have been. You can hear our entire interview with Sally Cunningham about 16th century history of potatoes, as well as find some bonus history on this little plant, including images and artifacts in the show notes for today's episode. So listen to the entire show and explore more history at the link right below this video. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching. I'm Cassidy Cash, and I hope you learned something new about the Bard. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.